Hello, hello, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. I am standing outside with my feet, my bare feet on the ground, looking at the sun, just sun gazing. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful day. Today is Monday, May 4th. And I got a story to tell. It's not a childhood story. This is actually an adulthood story. I want to tell you how walking away from family can be has been satisfying to me. How me injuring my back while moving in March of 2023 triggered a series of events that brought back memories that, whoo, wow. But what I want to share is about my grandparents, my grandfather specifically. No, I'm gonna talk about both of them. I'm gonna talk about both of them because I need to, because this is about why I walked away from my family. No contact. And it is because of how I have been treated, period. So my grandmother, wow. My grandmother, may she work in paradise on the behalf of me in the ancestral realm, was a phenomenal woman. I'm speaking of Margaret Gardner McCorkle. She was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2004. No, 2004, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Her diagnosis, she ended up not doing any chemotherapy. She did a surgery and they said they got all of the cancer and all was well. I am the person who took care of her during her recovery from that surgery. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go back just a little bit farther and I'm gonna say she and her oldest sister, Verdi Mae, we called her Aunt Sis, I sacrificed one day a week for probably 4 or 5 years, a Friday or a Saturday, to commit to taking them to the mall and out to eat lunch, to Walmart, to doing the things that they needed to do because they did not drive anymore and because I enjoyed the time. They wouldn't let anybody else take them. They waited on me. They would say, "Nah, Renee gonna take us. Nah, we good. Renee gonna take us." I was honored to do that for both of them. Nonetheless, I took care of my grandmother during her first surgery for the colon cancer, and then about a year later, the cancer came back, and it came back. It was bad for her. She was in a bed for a long time, bedridden for quite some time. She was very weak. She was a very humble woman. She didn't want a lot of people to see her while she was sick. She she would not allow anyone to clean her except me and my cousin. On rare events, she would let someone else clean her, but it was basically me and my cousin, and then sometimes my aunt. That should have been a red flag to me right there, but it wasn't. Um, she um, she was a phenomenal woman. She had expectations of each of us, and she called us in before she transitioned, and she expressed to us exactly what she wanted us to do, where she wanted us to be, how she wanted us to stand, and what we must do in order to continue the bloodline as it is. Woo, that was a lot. I took care of her. I was at the hospital every day. I was at her house every single day. I worked for AT&T at the time, and no, I didn't. I worked for, I worked for Exalt at the time, and then transitioned into Hewitt. At the time in human resources, my schedule was pretty flexible, and I also had FMLA coverage protection in order to take her back and forth to the doctors, take her to the hospital, make sure that she had everything that she needed, and I was her granddaughter. I was just a granddaughter. She had 3 children. Um, then she transitioned January 5th or 6th of 2006, which left my grandfather alone. Um, I also stepped up and took care of my grandfather. I would go and cook meals for him. Now his children, the children would come and visit, and they would stay for some time to visit. They did. I took care of my grandfather. I took him to most of his doctor appointments. However, the week before he transitioned in September, there was a doctor's appointment that I was not aware of. I don't know why I wasn't aware of it, because I was normally the person who took him to all of his doctor appointments. But at this particular doctor appointment, he had a defibrillator, and he requested to have the defibrillator turned off. He was starting to call me Margaret, which was my grandmother's name. His name was Robert. We called him Mutt. We affectionately called him Pawpaw. He started calling me Margaret. I would go and cook for him. I would go up there in the evenings. We had some wonderful conversations that have all come back to memory. On the day before he transitioned, I was terminated from my job. And for something I said in an email that someone misconstrued, because of course, I'm the angry Black woman. And so I was available to be with him on the morning that he transitioned. So on the morning that he transitioned, my mother called me. What are you doing this morning? You don't have a job to go to. Can you go up there and cook for Daddy? He wants pancakes for breakfast. I went. Oh, God. I went and cooked pancakes for him. Wow. I cooked his pancakes, and he wanted orange juice with pancakes. So we talked. I got there, he wasn't starving at the time. We sat down and we talked. He told me that he had $1,600 in his pocket that he was gonna give to Porky, because Porky needed to go to the dentist, and he was giving Porky that $1,600, and he had it in his pocket. He wow. He was eating his pancakes, and he started coughing. In the midst of his coughing, I went to the kitchen to get his orange juice. I was fussing as I was going to the kitchen to get the orange juice, because I always told him just what Mama always told him. Orange juice and pancakes don't really go together because it's too much sweetness. So I told him he needed water, and then I noticed that he really wasn't coughing anymore. It was more like he was gasping. I ran to go back into the living room and helped him get on the floor. I asked him, because I was gonna do CPR, and then I remembered my mother had told me that there was that he had signed a DNR, do not resuscitate. I asked him, did he want me to do CPR? He looked at me in my eyes and he shook his head no, and he continued to die from cardiac arrest. And I was frantic. I screamed, I hollered, I ran out the front door screaming for someone. I ran out the back door screaming for someone. No one heard me screaming. I went next door and I got my godfather, Clifton Griffer, and had him come over and sit with me. I called my mother. She calmly told me to call 911, that she was leaving work and she would be there shortly. About an hour or so later, she got there, my uncle got there. Well, in between, the 911 people got there and pronounced him as dead. Um, and life went on, and life went on. Now let me tell you why that story is what it is. So my grandparents, I had managed the books for them for about 4 years. So I knew what money was in the bank. My grandfather had gotten a settlement for his cancer. He had lung cancer. He worked with Duke Power. He was in the Army, and he worked for National Gypsum. And he had gotten settlement money. And before my grandmother died, she said, Renee, Mutt is going to add some things for you so that when we're gone, your life is a little easier. We appreciate you taking care of us. She was on her deathbed when she told me that. I remember getting a call from my uncle sometime between when my grandmother got sick and before she passed away. My uncle called me and said, because my cousin, Geraldine, was a notary public for the community, and my grandfather had me as the power of attorney over his retirement and insurance. Now, let me add this. I never touched their money. I never had to. My grandparents made sure that if I needed something, I had it. I could ask and they would just give it to me. Not because I was anything special, but because or they cared for me any more than anyone else. It was because I was there. It was because I was the person that was there. They did everything. I was there. They saw what I did. Their children saw what I did. The other grandchildren saw what I did. And I didn't do it for money. I did it because I love my grandparents. I'm saying this now, and I would have never said it had not it been a need for me to express my story and explain to everyone. I'm not explaining to everyone. No. Let me back this up, because this is not an explanation. This is a me telling my story so that I get it out. This is trauma. This is trauma on top of trauma. And the only way to get trauma out is to face it. These are generational curses that I'm not carrying on. So it is what it is. Called my uncle, who I, if I'm not mistaken, when you notarize paperwork for someone, you're not supposed to call someone and tell someone that you've done the paperwork. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to, but that's something totally different. And I could have very well made a telephone call and had her notary stamp removed, but I didn't. My uncle called me and he said, I got a call from Geraldine, and Geraldine said you done tricked Daddy and you done put your name on his paperwork. Who do you think you are? I was on my way to church that night. I pulled over on the side of the road and I said, I think I am the person who has to call to verify that his insurance information is okay, to dispute claims on his insurance, and to talk to them about what the benefits are for him and Mama while they are dealing with the health issues that they are dealing with. You are just a grandchild and you don't get nothing. Da 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 da. He went on and on and on and on and on. And I specifically told him, if you would like to take on the responsibility that I have taken on, you can have it. It's your mama and daddy. I continued to do it until after my grandparents were gone. Needless to say, when my grandfather died, I could have very easily checked his pockets and took the money out of his pockets. I could have went to the safe and took the thousands of dollars out of the safe. I could have went to the bank because I had signing authority. I could have went to the bank and I could have taken money out of the accounts. I did none of that. The reason I did none of that was because what I did from my heart. Mind you, I'm telling you that I lost my job the day before I was there to cook breakfast for my grandfather on the day that he transitioned. Because of the type of termination that I went through, I was not able to draw unemployment for 8 weeks. Me and my children struggled. I had a little bit of money saved up. I did. I had some child support, and I had some money coming in. But why should I have had to? When I was the person who took care of them when they needed me to take care of them. Not only was I taking care of them, I was also taking care of my cousin's daughter full-time and another daughter part-time. Why should I have had to struggle at all? Why should it have ever been a question? It should not have been. But these Christians, this is also part of the reason why I've walked away from Christianity as a cult. So let me explain this to you also. This I am going to explain because this needs explanation so that it can stop happening. When you do wrong to someone based upon something that someone else has told you or something that you participated in that you didn't realize was exactly what it is, manipulation. At some point, when you come to ding the idea that you've done something that you should not have done, the proper thing to do would be confess and ask for forgiveness and fix the situation, make it right. That's what being a follower of the law means. It doesn't mean you say, I forgive you. Will you forgive me? It means that you specifically admit to what you've done to yourself. Confess what you've done to the individual that you've done it to, and make recompense. That's what the law says do. So when you tell me that you're a minister, a deacon, a trustee, a leader, a follower, a believer, and you don't do those things, it's a problem. We're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. I still have situations that I need to address that I have not addressed. We are all guilty of it. I will be addressing those situations very soon. So when I say that I walk away from my family, and I've told this story to other people, and this is what they say. Yeah, but you know that's how family does. You know that's how we do in family. So if you can recognize that dysfunction in your family and stay in your family, you are more dysfunctional than your family. Because once you recognize it, at some point you have to address it. If you don't address it, then the cycle continues. You perpetuate the generational curse that has been attached to your family. Now, my grandparents both transitioned in 2006. Here we are, damn near 20 years later, coming up on my grandfather's transition, and nobody in the family ain't said nothing to me about this situation. Although for the past 4 years, I've been talking all the time about how I am relieving myself of undue trauma, stuff that's been stacked up on my back that I've been carrying. And you would think that people would think, oh, well, I bet I might need to say something to her. I might need to let her know. But see, this is another reason why I've walked away from family, is because you take my kindness as weakness and you don't recognize how strong I am. And when you don't recognize a diamond, you will throw it out with the glass. I knew this was going on all of these years, kind of tucked it in the back, because I'm thinking things are going to change. These people are going to realize the error of their ways, and they're going to come to a decision to do the right thing. Come to a decision to face the reality that my mother didn't want me, and everybody around me knew it, and they co-conspired with her to make my life almost a living hell. Even to the point of a gentleman that I was attracted to reached out to him to tell him, I'm not the wifely type, how dare you? Ask every man that I have ever been involved with, even the ones that married someone else, they all, A-L-L, all have called me to say, I'm the one that got away. All, A-L-L. That's neither here nor there. It's the manipulation. It is the inability to walk in forgiveness. It's amazing. People want you to forgive them, but they will not own up to what they done that you refuse to forgive. If you can't admit it, how do you expect someone else to forgive you for it? That is hypocrisy at its greatest and its lowest point. How dare you think that someone should care more for you than they care for themselves? And how dare you think that someone giving you grace, that is what it is, someone allowing you grace to see their heart, to see their movement, to understand who they are as a soul, not as a person, as a soul. And you continue to manipulate them, and you continue to encourage other people to manipulate them, not due to anything that they have ever done, but all to cover your actions. That is like causing a world war to keep somebody from seeing what you done. It happens on the molecular level as well as a leadership level. All things happen. What is going on in the universe is going on the earth. So above is below and below is above. It's going to happen on every level. The veil is rent. It is torn. What has been done in the darkness is coming to the light. And as long as I am alive, which I am not afraid to transition, I think I'd be more trouble on the other side for this realm. In this realm, I am limited on what I can do spiritually. That is because I live in a flesh body. I recognize, understand, understand, and overstand that I am a spirit in a flesh body, and that I am in this world and not of this world. That is a mental, a spiritual, and emotional. That is a place, not a space. A place. This is a space. So, all of the caring for people, all of the offering grace to others, all of the learning these experiences and learning how to patiently allow the truth to unfold has given me more tools that I can carry in my toolbox. So I am a natural nurturer. My one daughter used to say, I give to so much to other people. Wow. I do. I did. I don't. Things have changed. I recognize the value of my energy, and I am very selective at where I allow it to go. And I call it back. As a matter of fact, I call my energy back from every person, place, thing, entity, timeline, dimension, and realm, known and unknown, to be returned to me in the form of just plain energy. Ashe, ashe, ashe. And I give honor to the ancestors in the wind. Thank you for the wind, that it would blow spirit-like breath into all of those that are sleeping, and these dry bones will live again. I give honor to the ancestors in the wind, that my words will go, that they will flow to every place that they have authority over, and that they will not return void. I give honor to my ancestors in the wind. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the wind. Yes, yes. Did y'all see the wind? Y'all see the wind? Don't play with me. Don't play with me. You see the wind. I give honor. I give honor. I give honor. I am grateful. Man, I'm going to tell you what. I'm just going to be real. I'm going to tell you what. If I had to live this life all over again, I can't say I would change anything. Yes, I can. There's a couple things I would change. But I can't say that I would dwell on them. I wouldn't. I have learned lessons from people that broke my heart into 100 pieces. And I still treated them with respect. And I still treated them with dignity. And I still acted in integrity, because that's the woman that I am now. That's the woman that I am now. I ain't always been this woman. And the very people that I have walked away from remember the person that I used to be. The audacity of them to think that I have come so far that I have forgotten from whence I came. I will never do that, honey. I was cooking on a gas stove unattended, preparing meals for the family at 4 years old. I have always been strong. I have always been undeniable. They say when I was a little girl, I used to walk in the house, because back in those days, nobody locked the doors. They say I used to walk in the house and say, "Hey, it's Nene." Well, guess what, world? Nene has grown up to be wisdom reborn. And in order for wisdom to be reborn, that means at some point wisdom has had to die. In my unwise days, my dumb, blonde days, the streets kind of raised me. A little bit. And I'll have to tell y'all the story about that, how I was tested in the 98th percentile of the CAT test, and that was a California Achievement Test way back then, which was a great honor, and how my mother's then boyfriend told me, "This paperwork don't mean nothing. You so stupid. You so smart, you stupid. The streets gonna eat you up." That was 5th grade. That statement changed my life. That statement made me want to prove that the streets wasn't gonna eat me up. As a matter of fact, my tenure in the streets got me shot, got me into a head-on collision, man. I walked away from the streets because I thought I fit in too good. That's why I walked away from the streets. I walked away from the streets because I felt like that was a lifestyle that I could thrive in. I walked away from the streets because I felt like I could become a billionaire in the streets. That's why I walked away from the streets. Because I commanded a level of respect in the streets that I did not command in the church and in my family. And I knew something was wrong with that. So be clear. I didn't do it for me. I did it for everyone else. I felt like I could call for a head and it would be brought to me in the streets. And when that happened, it changed quickly. I had to, but none of my family told me that what I was doing was wrong. They was just spending money, asking me for money, coming and getting money. Can you buy this? I saw this that I want. They ain't tell me to get out the streets. They saw how good I was doing, and they was enjoying it. The same people. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I want you to have a wonderful day, because I'm just floating on the memories of things that have happened in the past, and how I was able to survive those things and still have a genuine smile on my face. Be able to, ooh, it's dark. Be able to, no, that ain't helping either. Be able to tell these stories and be able to grow and heal, and only hope, just hope, that by me sharing these experiences, that it encourages someone else along the way. Because listening to someone else tell their story, tell their stories, but a couple of stories in particular have definitely led me to want to share mine more. May abundance greet you wherever you go, and may peace envelop you through every door.